What a day. Little hungover after home opener. Jays win. I win 1,000,000 bets. Kyle Dubas gets screen grabbed, walking off all sour after the Leafs win. And the Masters are close. Oh. Honestly, nothing is curing my hangover like thinking about me being on the couch Saturday. I don't care how. I love when it's so nice outside, during the Masters. People are like, you should go outside today. I'll be like, I won't.
Yeah, it's nicer in Augusta.
No, I won't. I'll be sitting here on the couch. I think the same of our next guest, although I don't know if he's going to be down there. Joe House, Fairway Rolling, East Coast Bias Pods on the Ringer Network. What's up, brother? Great to hear from you.
JD, I love it when you call me Big Papa.
Yeah, I won't.
I mean, I'm gonna try and tone it down a little bit. You sound a little hung, buddy.
I am. I'm a little hungover. Guess what? I really enjoy baseball live and Bud Lights, and I like winning bets, and all those things came together yesterday, and it was beautiful. Like, it was a really beautiful day down at the ballpark. We got a nicely new renovated Rogers Center. We actually don't have a dump of a ballpark anymore in this city. It's great. Like, what better time? Like, this is just so great. This is what it's all for. This is what all these quiet media days and crap. Oh, what are we going to talk about in sports and this horrible Raptor season? This is what it's all about. Having baseball, having the Masters, having playoff hockey around the corner, meaningful basketball around like, this is it. March Madness final stunk, but we had it all. It was great. I'm just soaking it in, Joe.
Yeah, this is, we're back to that sort of classic debate. Which month is the best sports month? Mm-hmm. April, always way up there. October throws its hat in the ring.
Yeah.
Because of, the onset of NFL football, plus college football, plus the other, NFL, NHL, and basketball get going. But it's tough to beat April.
Man, April is just, well, the thing is, though, is that the Masters just adds such a class to April where you're like, hey, we do have this like as a luxury product. Tough to beat. But to me, there's just something about the intensity of playoff baseball that always gets me. But yeah, I don't know. It's a toss up. I just love both. Anyways, so Sergio Garcia, right? He goes viral. He tweets, "We're coming for that green jacket," right? And I'm like, ooh. But all I thought was, all right, Liv, they got a great chance. They got Rahm, and I think there's 13 Liv golfers in the Masters this year. And all I could think was, though, do we still care about Liv versus PGA? Like, is this still a thing?
Well, no.
Yeah.
Because there is no versus.
That's what I mean. It's like you guys are saying
about either one.
Yeah.
All you have to do is look at the ratings.
Yeah. So it's like they're trying to sell this thing that really is not a thing. But I guess we're going to pretend.
Only Sergio. Only tone-deaf dummy, social media moron Sergio. Like, nobody's looking to him for the insightful or the clever, take of the day.
Yeah.
I'm glad that he played well because that does, create some interest. And 13 live golfers in the field at this year's Masters. And, it does create some interesting opportunities. I'm going to be looking in the head-to-head markets. Mm-hmm. I'm on a few of the live guys, but I'm also looking to fade a few of them.
Okay. Let's start with that. Who are you fading?
Rahm.
Oh, what a sexy way to start, Joe. Okay, why?
Because the prices are going to be inflated, and it's not warranted. He hasn't played a competitive 72-hole round, tournament since November, since the finale of the DP World Tour. And before that, he played once, at the end of October. So 2 proper 72-hole tournaments. Now, I don't have any question about his competitive desire, but you layer on top the added responsibility of being the defending champ, and that's a whole set of routine-altering obligations. He has to host the dinner. Now, I mean, I think he's going to be sort of up for all of it, but it changes the routine. And on top of that, the guy has been doing nothing but complaining about being on live. He wishes he was on the tour. So I don't like where his head is at. There isn't a great track record for guys defending, and he's coming in, from my perspective, and I don't know if this is public information. Hopefully I'm not revealing anything. His family is growing. So he's just got a lot on his plate. And I don't think it's the right kind of formula for somebody that's got the focus that Augusta requires.
So thank you for this, because my first thought when I looked at the odds was, how can Scheffler be plus 350 and Rahm be plus 900? I have to play Rahm. And now I'm like, oh, maybe I'm not going to play Rahm because I like this information. Also, I like the way that he says family is growing. It could mean anything. It's just like he could have a child who's growing up. Like he's a growing boy. Does he have a boy? I don't know. Either way, I like this logic. I like everything behind it. I love also how this is basically this is what golf is now, is guys leave and they go to live and then they kind of complain about playing on live, because they basically sell their souls for this thing, and then they realize that that's the bargain they make, and they go, oh, I wish I could go back. And you're like, you can't, because didn't you see all the other guys that did it and complained, except for the dudes who are 100 and obviously weren't going to win this thing anyways? That's actually the most interesting one to me, is Rory has been, this is my only live thing that I care about left. Rory was basically Mr. I'm the guy who's going to defend the honor of the PGA. And then it ended up with him being like, oh, actually, I never even really didn't like it. I've sort of always loved it. He kind of, to me, has been hinting that he's ready to go over there. But the thing is, if he ends up winning, right? If he can put the 2011 meltdown behind him, then he gets the, exemption. He's allowed, no matter what, lifetime to the Masters. Do you think that if he wins, if he was ever to win this thing, he's the next guy to go to live?
I'm going to say no. But the reason is because I think they're closer than ever to having a deal where the two tours kind of rejoin. There is an alliance in the offing that I think will be realized over the course of this calendar year. And so, he has his payday coming from a lot of other sources. The TGL, the television product, that's going to debut next year. The PGA Tour owns it. It's going to be on Monday night on ESPN. He's got equity in that. Like, he's got his hands in enough other pots that he doesn't need the giant paycheck.
You think this is his year?
I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a ticket on him. It goes without saying.
No.
I feel like I'm in the top 5 of world's, foremost Rory truthers. But I was very encouraged by the last round at the Valero in San Antonio. He went and saw Butch Harmon. But his approach play has been so bad over the course of the year. I just don't have any confidence in it, which very well could be this is the circumstance finally where he gets across the goal line.
This is my favorite part of the yearly Rory narrative, is it doesn't matter really how he's playing. Because if he's playing poorly, people are going, no, this is a good thing because he's not peaking at the wrong time. And then if he's playing great, people are like, oh, he's playing great at the right time heading into Augusta. And you're like, okay, fine. It's always the same. He's not going to win. And I think, to me, the most interesting thing with Rory is that I think he's 34 now. Is he 34, 35? He's somewhere there, like in that age range. The last 10 winners, 6 of them were in their 20s, 3 in their 30s, and then obviously only Tiger Woods, the guy in his 40s. I feel like the thing we're starting to learn about Augusta is, it used to be, you'd learn the course and you were the wily vet. Now it's not. This is a young man's game. This is a young man's tournament. And I feel like the window of opportunity for Rory is like really coming to a close here over the next couple of years.
Maybe so. I mean, he remains as physically fit as anybody on tour. He doesn't seem to be the guy that's showing up every, 8 months with a new injury. Mm-hmm. And he continues to outdrive every single other guy on tour, both in distance and his accuracy is impeccable. So if he's able to maintain his health, I think he can compete. I mean, I put him up against any of the young guys in terms of like the physical attributes. Now it's just in his head. Augusta's in his head, and we're going to have bad weather. The Bobby Jones. The ghost of Bobby Jones can't let us just have one easy, 4 days of sun. It's gonna be a mess on Thursday. I don't know how much of the round we'll get in, and so everybody's hunting now for which side of the draw is going to be the more favorable draw, whether it's late Thursday, early Friday, or vice versa. And, so we'll see that as the field, as the draw gets announced. But if Rory comes out and shoots 68 or something on Thursday and then backs it up with something just a little bit under par, even 70 on Friday, then people are going to be on it.
Yeah. Can I ask you what your Tiger feeling is right now? Because I didn't even know he was playing until this week.
It feels like we are super lucky if we get 2 full rounds out of him based on where he is physically. I'm going to bet him, and in fact, I have bet him to make the cut. That is out of obligation, duty, and lifelong fandom. I was
going to say, I feel like this is the price of being a Tiger Woods fan, is that you have to bet on him whenever he's in a tournament. Like, it's because you can't not have the receipts of if something miraculous does happen, like when he did win the Masters, that you don't have the proof that you were actually invested, that you were a true believer.
Yeah, so I'm not willing to do anything other than make the cut.
Yeah, of course.
I just hope for him to be around on the weekend. There's no guarantee that even if he makes the weekend, he can play on the weekend. But I have a parlay. I want to see the old guys. I have a parlay. You can get this around plus 260. Phil and Tiger both to make the cut is like plus 260.
Okay. And
we'll see if the golf gods, how favorable, what kind of mood they're in come Saturday. Imagine those two guys paired up on Saturday.
I got to tell you, though, I'm always a never bet Tiger Woods because you never get a good number guy. Like, I always feel as though it's such a public bet that it's my one time where I get to feel like a sharp, because I am Joe Public. Like, I am the most public guy. I'm like, I love overs and betting the home teams and the teams I like. Like, it's the dumbest thing ever. When Hunter S. Thompson, he wrote a bunch of articles for ESPN. He put them together in a book, and he was like, yeah, the dumbest thing people do is bet on their own team. And I used to love going to parties and goat people into betting on their team when I knew they sucked. And I was like, that's me. He would have got me every single time. And but the Tiger Woods.
That's why we get along so well.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, it's like, what did you do this year? You bet the Wizards over their win total? It's like, yeah, that's exactly.
Of course.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. How could you not? How could you not? How could you be a true fan and not? It's weird with me with Tiger because, I know he's going for the streak, not missing the cut. Great. That's the bar for Tiger Woods now. Like, that's something that we care about. I guess maybe it's something he cares about. I just always thought that Tiger was going to be someone who went away with grace, and now it just feels like it might end up not so much.
The grace part, I think, is kind of out the window. I'm not so sure that that's his, in his DNA, but the streak matters. It's another, sort of point for his legacy. And by all accounts, he shouldn't be with us. He should have died from that car crash. So all of these performances where he's on the stage and making the cut, he's still if you're on the grounds at Augusta on Thursday or Friday and Tiger is there, you can feel it. The crowd swells. There's even with the most respectful patrons on planet Earth, you can feel it. It's alive. It's buzzing.
Yeah. So to me, the cut streak is like, where does that get mentioned in Tiger Woods' career, right? It's like paragraph 82.
Yes, in the 80s.
That's what I mean. So to me, it's kind of like, I don't care. But yeah, that's it to me, is it's like, if you're there and you get to go see Tiger Woods, that's awesome. But for me, watching on TV, the copious amount of cutaways we're going to get to him, I'm going to go, all right, I actually don't need this. I feel like we're actually kind of in the spot we expected to be with him the last couple of years, where it's reasonable, where we are talking about the rest of the field, and Tiger narratives are kind of appropriate finally.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, your observation at the top, you didn't even really think about him being in the field because we haven't really seen him play very much competitive golf. And who does play, he has to withdraw. And the wonderful thing now with the way the technology is developed, if you don't want to watch Tiger, don't watch the main broadcast. Come up with your own curated, stream your own, pick your favorites, watch every shot of of some guy that you've definitely bet on.
That is the best. I tried to invent that a million years ago. I called it golf pervert, where it was just like you had the cams, and you're just watching the cams, the different ones, seeing who's up, and they finally got it. And they didn't call it golf pervert, which was smart. That was a better branding decision.
For the best.
Yeah, probably for the best. Okay, so do you think? Let me ask you this: if the PGA could pick who would win, right? They'd be like, "Hey, who do we want?" Would they rather Scotty than anybody else? Like, do they feel as though they can really sell this guy to the general public as, hey, this is the guy, this is someone you can deeply care about, even with the lack of personality?
So it's a great question. My answer, I think, if we could really get into the heart of hearts, through proper truth serum thing, the answer would be Jordan Spieth.
Yeah.
Jordan
Okay, that's interesting.
Keeps moving the needle. Jordan Spieth has been with us for a full decade now, and he arrived on the scene as such a charismatic figure.
Mm-hmm.
I still get texts from non-golf fans, just regular sports fans, like family members, elderly folks, about Jordan Spieth. I don't get any texts about Scottie Scheffler. Mm-hmm. So Jordan Spieth, being back on the scene, winning the Masters, would be a huge boost for this upcoming tour season, I think, from the PGA Tour's perspective.
I think that's right, because he really does still move the casuals. Like, he was supposed to be kind of the next one. And remember he had when the Under Armour was starting to become massive, it was like, okay, Steph Curry, and he's the guy. And then there was all the dudes who ended up being cursed. Actually, you would especially know that, the DC Connect. But yeah, it was, man, Spieth. And there is something about him where there's a charisma there, he is someone that you kind of root for. And to me, that's interesting. Now I'm thinking about it. I still think for the PGA, they would want Rory to win. They would want him to get it. They would say, yep, he's done it. This is the best story. But yeah, I think you're right that Spieth would be number 2 and then Scheffler 3.
That's a fair ranking. I mean, Rory getting it hit so many narratives, and he really did carry the water for the tour. So that's a fair enough assessment. It's funny, neither you nor I put Justin Thomas in the top 3.
No, well, he's broken.
If there's any loser from the first 2 seasons of Full Swing on Netflix, I think it might be Justin Thomas. He comes off as a little bit of an entitled prick.
Oh, really? You just figured this out now? You didn't figure that out when he was at Waste Management and he basically filled his pants because there's one tournament a year where people cheer and are loud? No, he's the worst. Also, he is Exhibit A as to, hey, don't hire your papa as your coach. maybe go get somebody else so that you can have an opinion that isn't your dad's leading things. No, the firing the caddy right before the Masters, and the way that this thing's going, the way that his game is, he's a complete fade for me. I actually always like betting him for a top 10. I usually feel like you get a good number. This is my first year where I'm completely avoiding all JT bets.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
This is the year to bet him. You're never going to get odds this good again.
No, I'll never do it. I can't go against this now. That was my one strong opinion where I was like, this guy's broken mentally, and now you're telling me I have to bet it?
Remember what you were saying 5 minutes ago about being a square bettor?
Yeah, I know.
Sharp play, JT. There is some indication that the breakup with Bones, it was a mutual decision that it might have a liberating effect on JT. It might give him the clarity. Expectations could not be lower for him right now. And he quietly, so the problem with JT this season is he quietly has turned the corner in terms of the quality of some of his approach play. He missed the cut at Riviera and he missed the cut at the Players. So that's what sticks in everybody's mind. The two biggest events of the season thus far, he missed the cut at both. But quietly, he's got some top 10s and top 5s, and he's striking the ball well enough to not just be dismissed out of hand. The popular narrative is the one you just shared, JD. That's the time we pounce, buddy.
He's plus 2,900 to win. I don't think he'll win. But, maybe now.
I don't think he'll win. No, it's a nice top 10 play.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is fine. Fine, I'll do it. Because guess what? I have a million bets anyways.
Hold your nose.
Yeah, I was going to say, who cares? It's just another drop in the bucket. Everybody seems to be all over Xander. That's the sexy pick from what I'm reading is everybody's like, oh, yeah, Schauffele, this is his time. He's in the right spot at the right time. Who is your... who do you like winning this thing? What is your favorite bet for outright?
My favorite bet for outright is Hideki Matsuyama.
Okay.
And he is reminding us when he is in good health. This is the thing that's really held him back since he won the Masters 4 years ago. He just hasn't been able to get consistent health. What he did at Riviera to win the Genesis earlier this year, where there were 6 guys tied going into the 14th hole, and then he went on an incredible unmatched tear, and he won the golf tournament. It's not that dissimilar from how he won the Masters back in 21. He checked every box in terms of experience at Augusta, lots of high finishes at Augusta. The way that he plays, the height at which he hits shots, approaches. He's in every spot, and the most compelling thing to me is you can get him in the 25 to 30 to 1 range.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to lay dumb numbers on any of these guys. That's a fair price for Hideki, and it might have changed because that's the number that I got him at before the San Antonio tournament. He played great, in spurts in San Antonio, so folks are kind of on him. The number might be under 20 now.
Yeah, it is. It's plus 1,900. He and Spieth share the same odds now. So, yeah, people have been pounding that. I may have missed it. Guess what? I'm still going to end up riding it now. Like, I'll jump on that. I like that narrative. Again, I'll take another bet. This is my thing.
The other guy
that
the stats are very fond of this week, it's a little bit of a below the radar, is Shane Lowry, who had really good Florida swing and has been trending in the right direction at Augusta. Has a 3rd place finish under his belt, and all of the, again, he's a guy that checked a lot of the boxes. The way that folks try and process the Masters is, here are the attributes you need to have. Here are the 8 most important things, the 10 most important things. And you take the filter and go from there. The only thing that Shane Lowry doesn't have in common with winners of the past 15 years, he's not in the top 30 of the official world golf rankings. He's 36, but otherwise his strokes gained approach, he's 3rd. His strokes gained tee to green, he's 5th. Strokes gained around the green is positive. His best Masters finish is 3rd place. He has a lot of experience at the Masters. Like I say, Shane Lowry quietly checked a lot of boxes.
Hey, guess what? I already have him at plus 400 for a top 10 finish. So we're already aligned on that one. So this is the first handshake that we can do. This is the first one where you just haven't bullied me into the bet. You basically bullied me into 3 bets. So I was like, fine, I'll do them all. 2 went directly against my heart, but yeah, fine. We're going to be there. Hey, okay. So before you go, I do have to ask you one basketball question. It's this. It's been a while since Raptors fans have been this in the wilderness. Like, we just played you guys. I think the Raptors won, but here's the thing I've had to check out. The one positive, I guess, of being a fan of a rudderless team is that you get to watch more basketball. Like, you get to spread your attention to the good teams, to the enjoyable teams to watch. Like, you get to watch more Jokic and you get to watch more Ants. So that's been okay. But yeah, I genuinely, I'm not trying to be a dick. How do we do this again? I don't remember how to be a fan of a team that just has completely no direction and looks like they're going to be, 4 or 5 years from being maybe competitive, like the Wizards? Like, we don't have a Jordan Poole contract, and we got Scotty Barnes, so it's not as bad, but it's the same. Like, you have that. So that's the number one shit. But outside of it, how do you do this? Like, how are you still going, maybe the Wizards will be good, telling people this publicly on the podcast, and remaining optimistic, because I'm lost with it. And most people I know that are fans of this team right now are lost as well.
I try very hard to not have anything to do with the Wizards. I try very hard. I mean, I came in at the beginning of this season with the idea that, yes, this is going to be a bottom 5 team in the NBA. That is the path that they should be on. I'm happy to have some smart executives in the building for the first time in what feels like 25 years. And I tried to make the case at the outset of the season that the team could be a bottom 5 team but still win 24 games. As soon as it became apparent that it was going to be a clown show, I was out. But JD, this is the thing. It's like a great moment. You're welcome to our world. Ugh. All you do is look at your bets. It's magnificent. You can bet on any team in the NBA every single night of the NBA season. It's the best ever. Get invested in a team that's on a hot streak. You know who has the best against the spread record in the NBA?
I don't.
The Orlando Magic.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
You know who I'm a fan of?
Yeah.
The Orlando Magic. You become a team of whoever starts putting money into your pocket. It's the best thing ever.
Yeah, I mean that is already the thing that I do. Trust me, I bet on all the sports. I just I want to be able to watch the team be fine. And you know what the worst part is with this year is this draft sucks. There's nothing like to have a season that we just went through, and then your reward could be Zach Edey. You go, or there was one mock draft I saw the Ringer had where I think it was Dalton Connect to the Raptors, and I went, the 24-year-old short white guy. Yeah. That's what we get for this year. No, I refuse. Someone else enter the draft. Like, I have always been staunchly against taking the dudes that you have to go watch on YouTube. They play in Australia and there's 5 seconds of them and you go, I guess so. I'm fully for that this year because at least you can trick me into believing that something is there. I need a European guy or an Australian guy, whatever, because I can't have anybody from the NCAA field this year. They talked about this Cody Williams guy. I watched Buffalo. He weighs 85 pounds and he can't shoot. And I went, that's the top American? What happened? I can't have this.
No, you're absolutely right. The whole thing is we're already positioning for next year's draft, Super Flag.
Yeah.
Your point is the right one. It better be a European or Australian player or even South American that's not a day over 19 years old. We better draft a child because there is no upside whatsoever. Speaking of children, I spent, way more time and words on this proposition than I should have. But I made a pretty impassioned case to some of my Ringer cohorts that if I was in the top 5 of this upcoming draft, I would draft Bronny James sight unseen. I wouldn't worry about it because I think that what the potential for that pick to turn into genuine leverage somewhere down the road that's superior to whatever the bum player turns out to be that you would take in that spot otherwise, I think the leverage is going to be better. Now, there's a lot of chapters to be written in terms of whether LeBron really will go wherever Bronny goes and whether, a team like Miami or Philadelphia that really could use LeBron this upcoming season will give you anything of value back for Bronny for taking that position. I'm conceding it's a little bit far-fetched.
I don't think it is.
In the draft, I mean, when we're staring at like you say, Dalton Connect, give me a little upside here.
100%. Okay. So this is exactly what my line of thinking was. I'm like, okay, so if you're a team that has multiple picks in this draft, you're telling me that you don't want to take this shot, that this could be something? Like, you're not going to take a chance? Let's say you're, Minnesota, right? You got the 27th overall pick in this draft. You don't want to take a shot? You don't want to try to convince LeBron? Like, you're the Minnesota Timberwolves. What have you ever done? What have you ever been?
Right.
Exactly. It's like, get Bronny and see maybe if LeBron will come for a mid-level exception. That's the only chance that he has to play with his kid. And if you're one of these teams, why wouldn't you want to have that? Why wouldn't you want to hold it hostage? We know how powerful LeBron is in the league, right? Like, this is not just a normal player. He's got real leverage with other front offices. I 100% think teams should be considering this. The Knicks, you got 2 picks. You got 2 picks in the 20s this year. Should absolutely be doing this. If I was the Raptors even, they got pick 31. It's their 3rd pick in the draft, in a draft they didn't even want to be a part of because they traded their first for Jakob Poeltl, and that really worked out great. Why wouldn't you do that with 31? No, I'm totally with you. I had this exact same thought, and I wondered why that's why he entered the draft, is because people are telling him, if you really want to leverage this and you can get your dad to say kind of on a back channel on record that he'll do something about this or that he really wants to play with you, somebody's going to make this happen. I think it totally makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, there are probably 28, maybe 29 of the 32 teams that LeBron would not consider under any circumstances.
Of course.
But, what it would mean for Washington or for Toronto or for even, honestly, Minnesota could be some kind of trade asset as the season sort of develops. That's the compelling piece to me. But the Knicks is kind of incredible. That's a whole nother level of consideration. Can you imagine LeBron with this team, like the most likable team in New York? The fans all the Knicks fans in my life are losing their minds about how much they love this team. That could be pretty cool.
That's the one to me that makes the most sense. There's two that make the most sense, but I actually don't know if Miami even has a pick in this draft. Like, they could buy one in the second, but I don't think Miami has a pick, which is, oh no, they do. They have 15. So are you going to use 15 to do that? That's rich. But if you're New York and you got 21-22, could you imagine how it's going to be on the draft floor if they go with the 22nd overall pick, the New York Knicks select Bronny James? It's going to go bananas. Like, it's ESPN's wet dream. Like, that is what they want so badly. That does everything. And so if you're LeBron too, you want to finish your career, it's all of a sudden a competitive Knicks team where you close at the place that people thought you were going to be maybe all along when you first started in Cleveland. I don't know.
Right.
There's something to that.
Pretty good.
I like that. You know what? I think we did it. As the kids say, I think we unlocked the script. You know, the NBA is scripted. It's one big script. That might be it. 22, Bronny James. We called it. House, thanks as always for making time, man. I appreciate it.
You got it. Anytime you call, I answer, JD.
Absolutely. Thanks, brother.
Enjoy
Joe
the
House.
Masters.
You too, man. You too.